Arkan Jacobs, a relatively young but insightful and goal-driven information technology expert and industry captain, is the founder, managing director, and chief executive officer of Converge Global Concept Technologies Limited, one of the fastest growing technology solutions providers in Nigeria.
Converge all began in 2019 when we began operations in the month of March. But in 2018, I was working for a global technology company, and I knew that there was a niche in the market, there was a gap in the market, which had to do with how service was delivered professionally to global companies in a global manner, and how these services would not change over time. You know, we had a tendency where something is good at the start, and then over time the service would deteriorate. And that was a key passion for me, to see how we could come into a market that was used to those kinds of problems, and we would deliver services consistently, successfully, the first time and every time. And that was sort of what birthed Converge, that we would come and fill a gap in the market that had a service issue. And when we got into the market, we got in at a time where there was a global recession. If you remember, in 2018, there was a burst in the New York housing market that rippled all across the world, and the world was in this recession. And when we started the organization, we saw more that need, because companies, banks, telcos didn't want to spend money. They didn't even have the budget to spend the money. And so we had to dig deep to now find how we could help them achieve whatever their business imperatives were. Some companies you would go to sell a solution, we say to you that one of our targets this year is not to spend money. And you're like, okay, but I'm trying to get you to spend money. How are you going to do business with me without spending the money? But it led us to dig deep and find technology solutions that would aid customers do more with less, and in so doing, spend less money. Those were some of the building blocks that began Converge. Converge is a technology company, and what we do is to go to corporate organizations and engage them on real life problems that they have. Not technical problems, real world problems. And so we can go to a bank and say, what are your challenges or your aspirations in 2023? What do you want to do? And when they tell us, most of it we research it though, we would get on their website, we'd get on their annual reports and find out what the board has said the company should do. And then based on that, we would go to them and say, well, we have a technology solution that can help you do this or help you do that. And so those days we would go to banks, and the banks would say something like, we have a queue snaking through the front door for people trying to get to the tellers. We are not able to process their transactions fast enough. Today, the conversations are slightly different. It is like we have a cap of 30 million people that can hit our USSD platform at any time, but we want that cap to go up to 100,000 people. So the requests have changed over time. You saw the cashless policy that we introduced a few months ago. It introduced a new set of problems to the Nigerian banks and telcos and government organizations. And so the unique selling point is that we craft solutions to solve real business problems. We don't craft solutions to solve technical problems. We don't sell technical problems. We craft the solutions. We can take 2, 3, 4 solutions, put them together to make a bank leapfrog and have a competitive advantage over its competition. So our solutions are largely divided into 6 areas. We've got the data center solutions, and these help with creating the stable foundation for any corporate organization to build its complex IT infrastructure. We've got the security solutions that help that after we have built that data center solution, we can now secure it and ensure that nobody can get in and take what's valuable to the organization. We then have the automation solutions. Technology is expanding, the roles are diverse, there is so much for people to do. And in many ways, computers can do some of those tasks. You have a company, for example, that may have 80,000 customers. It's not a human being that will produce invoices for each of the 80. So computers take all of that over and automate it. And then on the other side, we've also got virtualization. Virtualization, interesting, is one of our oldest solutions, because that's the solution that when customers said we don't want to spend money, We talked to them about desktop virtualization, application virtualization that could crash a bank's or a telco's budget spend by half because of the nature of the technology. Virtualization has to do with taking whatever a bank or a telco or a government institution uses to serve its customers and putting it on any phone or tablet or desktop, whatever they may have. And with the security as though they were sitting in the office, and they get all these desktops and applications anywhere they are on any device in any part of the world. And then we've got monitoring. When I used to be an engineer about 20 years ago, technology websites were just a 3-tier system. They were very simple. You had a database, you had an engine, and you had a web front end. But that has changed. Now technology solutions, we call them N-tier systems. You could have 32 systems. When you launch your mobile app on your phone, you may have 28 different disparate systems that are coming together to work to make sure that your transaction works. It is our responsibility in Converge to help our customers to monitor what is happening across those 28 disparate back-end systems, so that if that transaction fails, we can identify it's your subsystem 15 that caused the problem, or it's your subsystem 25 that caused the problem. And then we then have the experience part of Converge. We are very passionate about how technology affects users. Gone are those days when in bank meetings or in telco meetings, the other departments will say, but IT, your budget is the biggest, yet we don't feel your impact. The customers are still complaining. And so in Converge, we're very passionate about only introducing technology that changes customers' experience, so that the value to the business is felt and not just in the technology department. Those are the solutions that Converge says.